Hello, hello. It's fine. Good evening to you. And you. Grant, how's it going? Jesse? We're all here. Oh, good. Jag's here. Whew. Jonathan, how's it going? Thud is here. We're all here. We're doing it. What are we doing? Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we'll... Maybe we'll find out today what we're doing. All right. I'm so glad, Jonathan. That's what it's all about. Me? Well, recording started and it is April 29th, 2019. Haircut update. Didn't fix it yet. Hate it. Lip. Still split. Okay. So that's kind of just a static thing at the moment for me. That's still happening. Okay. So just in case you were curious about that, because I mean, I'm sure it was on your mind. We're having a little bit too much fun right now. Real quick, let's talk about the market. Okay, let's talk about the things that we looked at today, do a recap, and then we will continue on with our journey of finding the heat. I have a couple of abridged lists that I created with regard to top relative volume and then top percentage change movers over the last 3 trading sessions that we can maybe zoom it into, do a filing watch list. But let me say to you this: a market can be slow, and it's going to be, but that moment where you get complacent or start blaming the market for your issue is the moment when the thing will happen or come about that you miss. And that's why, am I charged up that things aren't running? No, I'm not exactly charged up about it. That's, what's to be charged up about? But what I have to continue to do in order to continue to be the best is put in the time. It's like anything else. Put in the time. You got to put in the time. You got to be practicing, reading, looking, just like any other skill. No one's perfect all the time. And it's up to us to be on the bleeding edge, which we been that. And we'll continue to be. First and foremost, I was really charged up about this. I was really charged up about this because I found a 91 million share float. And then for some reason, as of March 31st, it's lower. So was there some type of reduction? Were some type of shares taken off the table? I'm not 100% sure. But where I'm from, which it's snowing again where I'm from, and I've been just in this general area a couple miles around here for my whole life. I'm from here, and where I'm from, I'm surprised to see just this area, Jane. And where I'm from, I'm surprised to see that there's a little bit of snow this late in the year, but especially 2 days in a row. But that's the thing about being in this area. You never know, right? So, yeah. This news to me was a big deal. This organization has been awarded $8.5 million in research budget from the NIH, which is a government agency that is part of the Department of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Okay? So this, when it comes to what the market likes, they like real things. And for me, I said, okay, this is a real thing. It is a current reporting ticker. The share structure, even where we bought at 0.035, yeah, it's a bit heavy at $2.7 million to turn it over. But with that being said, this is the type of thing that people might. What's always the benchmark for whether or not you actually want to buy? Like, if you want to get into some bullshit, that's fine, right? But what's the benchmark for whether you want to actually buy something? The benchmark for the big monsters we've been on, right? Y'all got Super Bowl? Y'all got giant shrimp that are going to change world hunger. Y'all got LGBTQ sensitive ETF? Y'all got government contract for HIV vaccine? These are the things where you can look at the share structure and say, you know what, I'm going to give this a little rip here. Because these are the things, because I got a message from a guy on Twitter not long ago, and he says, well, what, are you still in shrimp, SHMP? And I said, yeah, I haven't been in it for a long time. I feel like it's a bit baked now. And he says, well, why wouldn't you want to be invested in something that could potentially change world hunger? And it's not funny. It just got my wheels turning about what catalysts might potentially have power. And interestingly enough, this organization released this news and it received almost no volume. Very, very low. But it's one of those types of ones that right. I mean, that's the thing. But it's one of those types of ones where over time, it can begin to become something that people think about, talk about, and certainly really broke free of a lot of bags here, right? It cleared off a lot of bag holders all up in here. The daily chart is very much ugly. It is very ugly to the point that, if I was to not know what the catalyst here, I would say, if I had to buy it tomorrow, I would say, what's your life worth? What's your time worth? Because this really doesn't move. Right? Well, I'm going to talk about it, Jesse. So there wasn't a lot of action there, and people look at that daily and go, big bag. And it could be. The vaccine's a trial, and people also don't trust biotech. And that's one of the things you got to remember with any trading on any market. Biotech is dump city. Okay, because they need to dilute to get money. They have no revenue stream because they're testing and trying to create something that may eventually one day become profitable, right? So I expect this. I don't expect this to run, honestly. I don't. But if you're looking at a chart like this where you're sitting kind of in this range with, hey, Jill, with news that's, it has government contract, the share structure is not bad, all those different things, it's worth a rip. And, if especially on a day like today where there's been no liquidity, and if I'm being honest with you, excuse me, it did move and it did cross on the 30, but it really didn't get sold off. Like, people weren't desperate to dump out because they saw some legitimacy in this news. And, I don't love to buy news. I don't love to believe in things in the stock market because it's not for us. Right? This is a tool that's used to extract money for us and fund company operations and deal with debt, right? So, it is what it is. But with that being said, it was a little bit too low down here given what it was. And when we picked it up around this 35 level, it made a nice move for what was a 40%, 42% trade. And then I kept a good amount, reloaded it again here, right here at 42, 43 to see if there'd be continuation in the coming days. There very well may not be, but that formula it's not a bad look. Okay. Expectations. I mean, you want to know expectations based on this daily chart? It might recover to these levels at some point, the 70, that wouldn't be too bad. But my expectations for a hard run here are pretty limited, especially considering this didn't even take the type of volume that it brought before. However, you might argue that this is no longer as diluted as it was either, and moving up on low volume. You might say that because I'm not seeing heavy volume here, but time will tell. And if you're curious as to whether or not there's dilution there, or there will be, you could look at their 10K. Excuse me. Yeah, you could look at their 10K and just scroll down and see the massive size. You could just go straight to the balance sheet and see the absolute massive size in euros of their debt load in convertible notes payable, 50,000 euros, but it's not 50,000 euros. No, because it's in thousands. $50 million in liabilities. Only thing about that, because that is a horror show. That is an absolute, just in convertible notes payable. Only thing to consider on that front is, given the liquidity that is here, which is none. I mean, this pulled in like 70 grand today. We're going to need some activity on the buying front or the promotion front. A lot of people do, Jesse, and then that's the feedback. So, maybe something needs to be done to provide this with more liquidity, maybe promotional, God only knows. But to me, this basically chart having fallen off a cliff with government contract news around this level, I have to try. And it was an okay trade. It wasn't great. I'm going to show you something on Drone Garter. Not that I think Drone Garter's a runner. All right? No chance. Drone Garter has been trasholio. And I don't even know if that's a word, but I've created it. Drone Garter has been garbage. Now, if I think about candles and reversal candles or things like that, it's nice to see them thinning out, right? Like the market is agreeing that, this 7 to 9 range, everyone's willing to take it in that range, which is super cool. The volume is about the same, so it's still certainly diluted. But here's something to think about on DRNG, because a lot of people are saying, well, thoughts on DRNG. Here's some thoughts. Okay, and these are just the thoughts that are going into why it might be okay. I mean, the thing you got to remember with these ones that are right on the floor like this is they might suck and they may never get better. For every VYST, and if you recall VYST, we took trip 8 on VYST. And a lot of us, including me, just got too damn frustrated with it. But for every VYST, there are 3 to 10 spindles, which ended up they just threw in the towel and filed for bankruptcy. So Drone Garter is not necessarily too low down here because there's no such thing as too low down here. It's just reverse split, dumped again, reverse split. It's the never-ending cycle of shit. But here's some food for thought, at least, on Drone Garter and what made me consider potentially looking at it. First and foremost, the share structure. Obviously, we don't know what they've added since April 3rd, and it's been a little bit of time since then. But we know that the outstanding shares 381 million, and the restricted, and that puts us at a former float of 279 million. Times 0.0008. That's pretty darn thin at 223,000 to turn it over. One news release, pop. But we don't know what this OS is today. Okay? This chart is horrifying. It's a horror show. Yes, it's thinning out. Yes, maybe it's turning up. But this dumping, how much is it? These two low down here plays, you're not alone, Jesse. I personally struggle with the patience on them. We have the experts here. I personally struggle very much. But with that being said, DRNG, this is 90 million. This is 90 million volume here. Not all of that was dilutive. We saw maybe about 23 million of that was dilutive. April 3rd. So let's say, that's 23 diluted, 50. 10. So that's 60. 90. And so on and so forth. These bars, this isn't like $1 billion was dumped today. It was only 90 million shares worth today. And it actually was able to move again. And if you look at the historical data, it's not a ton. It's not a ton of volume. Like, we're not looking at something that's dumped 500 million today. Okay, we're looking at 90 million bought and sold, and a lot of that, maybe half was retail, maybe much more. 30? Well, this is where it gets kind of interesting. Because we had a cross on the 30, and now a reset of the KST, and now potentially going for another cross on the 30. As where in the days prior, and I talked about it on Friday, for quite some time, the last time it actually crossed the 30 was a brief moment in April, and then back on April 9th where it actually made a pretty notable run. So I'm interested if I have to try, and with things like this, you try light. The dollar signs in your eyes when you think, well, this could be like VYST again, where we got it down here. Could be like this again. It could. Most likely it won't. And if you're going heavy on something at this level, you are out of your mind. For every VYST, there are 1 for 10 of these. Spindle. Blue sphere. PBYA, they're on the mat. They're not coming back. They're done. Finished. Finito. This period of time, look, looks a lot like that drone garter chart we looked at. Could be. Could be getting ready to reverse. No. You got to try light. The multiples are there. If it goes, the multiples are there. It's big. It's big, big gains. But my goodness, that looks a lot like drone garter today. And you can see what happened there. So it's a word to the wise. Maybe. But if you're hanging, first of all, if you're expecting this to move quickly, think again. Second of all, if you're hanging your hat on it and thinking that this is good and I really got the bottom, think again. And that's why I tried to really provide a caveat emptor. I guess so. If patience is your struggle, and a lot of people, by the way, because people are like, well, how do I? Because if you're like me, I was trying to learn how to play these too low down here plays, and I would just buy it at what I thought was too low down here, and then it would keep going below, or it would just not move ever, and I'd be like, well, what do I do now? A lot of these people, which I personally don't agree with, is they'll average this down. Okay, I got 8s. 6 is up, I'll take some 6. 5's up, I'll take some 5. And on and on and on and on, hoping for that pop, which is a way to make these very, very profitable. And that's how a lot of the really top, and Jen can correct me if I'm wrong, really top too low down here players do it, right? They think it's officially too low, they got a reversal, they're going to keep averaging it down until it maybe gets a pop, because the share structure is still nice and maybe there's a pump in it. Which is a very, very risky strategy. So food for thought, drone garter. ITK, sometimes you have a strategy and the market just doesn't pick it up. You know, they just aren't interested in it. And I got a couple messages today. Well, like, does it bother you that it got bashed? No, it doesn't. Nothing anyone says, any person on social media, anyone on Twitter, anywhere you go, will affect your run. Trust me. Take it from me. I've been around. Nothing anyone says will affect your run. If the market likes it, the market likes it. It's not a factor. The market wasn't feeling it. They didn't feel it was exciting enough. We thought that maybe, I mean, they took a ton up here. There's so many bag holders higher than where we got it. You know, like in here around 3, you would have thought that leading up to this court date, they would have given it a rip. And then in addition to that, you know, you got people up here that never sold. They're just sitting up here. So you thought they might have been like, court, bang the gavel. Court time upon us. Hey, Mr. Matlock, is it time for court? Nothing. Why, gee willikers. They didn't give a shit. But you know what? It's a setup on a share structure at a price per share that, you know, if enough people start chatterboxing about court, it's worth a rip. So you know what? I'm frustrated by it, but you know, it's just one to keep an eye on in the future. Okay. So that's that. Jake, how's it going? Let's get into some stuff with regard, we're gonna look at some filings. We're gonna look at things that have had higher relative volume and higher relative movement over the last 3 trading sessions. I made lists. Okay. And then we'll look at the SOS because I've got time. Okie doke. I don't know about you, but where I'm from, I love a stop sign. I love a yield sign. I like a low down opportunity. I like them right on the floor. I don't want it baked. I don't want it baked. I don't need it baked. Now remember, when you're in this section, this is just pink only. Only reporting that is being reported to OTC markets only. These tickers have no obligation to report to the SEC. So generally, when you're in here, it's more trash. Okay? So I'm not really caring to see things that are already current. Because they're already current, they've likely already made a run. I'll take a peek, but the beauty of this area is to find things. So we know that one is to find things. So there's their annual report that maybe haven't been looked at for quite some time, like this IMHC. Is it Digital Solutions? Drug-free solution that had a big run not too long ago. IMHC, what y'all doing here? We'll look at it. So I'm not necessarily, and then IMTL with the supplemental information to stay current. And that's everything that got covered post the market closing. Then when I move down to SEC filings, remember these have a lot more power. And the reason they do is because they reach a broader audience. And they reach an audience of people that are interested in low down opportunities, but they're more interested in things that are filing through the SEC. A, because maybe they use equity feed. B, because they trade big board and they don't dick around on OTC markets and look at these stinky pinky tickers. And so they'll look at the 8Ks and the filings that come out via their platforms for OTC markets tickers, but they're not motivated to go to otcmarkets.com and dig into the filings, which is why a lot of these things that are pink only will never see the dollar volume these SEC filings get. And you know, with the SEC filings, they file that deregistration form, 1515D, 1512G. It's all basically the same form for different levels of ticker. Once they're off of the SEC, the size of the runs is significantly smaller. And the same goes for this. So when it comes to the SEC, any number of things could be a runner here. So I like to read all the 8Ks, and we're going to do the 8K speed run because where I'm from, and to my eye, Dean, to my eye, I need to know what's going on. I don't want to be caught off guard. Okay? That's what I'm saying. What's this? 8K here. Because what you really want to start doing is being able BMAX, I know what it is, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's a trip that's been pumping Walmart diapers for years. And if that news is front-loaded, Lordy mercy. Been a while. Back. So let's do it. We got to get, this is a lot of 8Ks. We got to get through them fast. How will we? Oh, these are old as hell. Get out. We'll do them anyways. It's good practice. Here we go. CBDL. CBD Life Sciences. Is this the one with Japanese CBD? Yes. Japanese CBD. And no one cared about it. Honestly. So the question you have to ask yourself is an attorney letter that's filed only with the stinky pinks, only pink, is an attorney letter enough to move CBDL after Japanese CBD failed to move it? No, it isn't. There's the answer, and there's the reverse split there, which gets you to thinking though. I mean, there's that reverse split there on CBDL, and it is damn ass thin on the share structure, really thinly traded for this price. It's just one of those ones that eventually I can't buy it because of the just show me the split. Can I win today? There it is. It's got to have one in it. 1 for 100. 23 million on the float as of Friday. When is it done dumping? When will people understand the Japanese people's passion for CBD? Could be coming. This would be a 30 look. This is a real 30 look. But attorney letter's not going to move it. IMHC, where I'm from, they had filings. Where I'm from, the share structure, 11 million, pretty darn good. News, they haven't had that. Good gracious. A little bit of action there. Not a lot. I mean, you always got to put volume on the chart in perspective. Okay, so it looks like, whoa, it's really coming to life. Now, you know what? It's really coming to life. 30,000 isn't life. I don't know. We can check it out, I guess. I don't think so. Does it? Someone can save me the time. Does it have news? Drug-Free Solution made a big run, and they've been filing. They dumped into it. I think it was a promo of some sort. Look at this. Okay? Not a bad... Shoot. Not a bad setup down here, Drug-Free Solution. What happened here? Just disinterest. Well, she's looking for a drug-free solution, Alan. And whatever she's trying to solve is probably not a very enjoyable thing. You could argue that this is too low down here. You could also argue that no one gives a crap. I'm leaning more towards not giving a crap. Yes? Fusion Connect, material definitive agreement. The company and the lenders, lender, lien. Agreement, lenders, notes, bag. Will this 8K move the market? No. Would you like to look at it sometime? That's on you. We're trying to find out what moves the market. LGBTQ Loyalty Holdings, formerly known as Life Apps. They filed an amendment to change their name to LGBTQ Loyalty Holdings. And if you think that's going to move a ticker, I'll think again. Everyone knows what LFAP is. Anyone in LFAP knows what it is. Anyone that has not been living under a rock knows what LFAP is. So this is not a catalyst where I'm from. If you were to trade it on the 30, because this does have regular volume. 30? Thank you. You might be getting into a situation where we're getting ready for another cross and another leg up, because they buy this and they do not sell it. They don't sell it. They're loyal. It's food for thought. Windstream, excuse me. Windstream and its debtors filed a presentation to the bankruptcy court. Hold me back. Nothing good happens with these. What is your life worth and what is your time worth? It must have come down off the NASDAQ pass. 8K Nutricorp. Departure of directors, that's fine. A departure of directors can lead to merger thing, but we need to see. He elected Gilbert Fung as the director and Cole Munger as a director. Daniel Chen has hired these people. That's a huge bore. If you want to look up the chart, that's your business. Come on. No, it's not my business now. It's just a boring 8K. Material definitive agreement. Departures. So the CEO has now become the chairman. Of Wise Pharma. That's not exciting. We Wards. Lay Pay. Dispose of a total 60 million shares by gifts of 30 million shares to each of two irrevocable trusts for his minor children. So he's got his kids hooked up with the shares. Just set them up with some shares. Just come on. If you're interested in taking a look at it, we might be able to do so next year. Screw it. No one even cares. Even TradingView doesn't care. I don't care. Momentum Performance. They've issued a security note. Notes, secured notes, notes. Notes. Lean, notes, notes, bag. And by the way, if you're trading the NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange, the ASTAC, I don't know if you've heard of that, it's a new thing. All these filings are the same. Like the way we treat these filings, I don't care for that. The way we treat these filings is the same no matter what market you're on. Okay, so no matter what it is, this method will carry you to whatever you market you want to go to. Departure of directors. In 2017, and replaces the definition of change of control. And this thing has been moving for a long time, though. Moving nowhere. So, I mean, it looks like it weighs 1 trillion pounds and doesn't move. So, Biostage, they've entered into securities purchase agreement, code for convertible debt, purchase agreement, notes, warrants, notes, capital, exercise price, bag. Changes in accountant. Now, changes in accountant can proceed preface a merger here, and I am not seeing that. I'm just seeing a change of account. Humanigen, material definitive agreement, creation of a direct financial obligation. Okay, that's all right. Let's see what it is. It could be a share exchange. 1.3 loans, investor group, interest, annum, unregistered sales of securities, conversion price, note back. LGYV, what's this? A lot of filings on the 26th with an 8K on the 26th. Did we see this? Change in accountant. No one really cares. And did they care on the 26th when they were filing? No. So I don't care. If you want to do some DD, go ahead. BIEI, material definitive agreement, convertible note, securities purchase agreement, interest rate, purchaser, power up lending. Remember, there are two super duper, mark them down in your notebook, two of the nastiest lenders in the OTC, if not the two worst. Power up lending and Tangiers, Tangiers Capital. If you see either of those with convertible notes that were given, know that this is most likely going to zero. There could be a pump in it, and God knows they activate promotions and things like that. But know in your heart, if you've got Tangiers or Power, it's the nastiest of the loan shark MFs out there. The worst. Just keep it in mind when you're in some, should I belong? First of all, gross. That's disgusting. But second of all, those are the worst. So mark them down. Not that you should stay away, because it's all convertible debt out here, baby. But they're the worst ones, and it's eventually going to zero. So if you feel like you're long, yep, they do. They do, and there's action on them. They get into the super low ones, the thin ones, and there could be great action in them. But just know what it is. My Doherty's Pharmacy, shoot. Huh. Reverse split here, obviously, at some point. And now we got 578,000 on the float. And we have them adding new directors. We've got new CEO. We've got SEC fine. We got a Form 4. Form 4, as you know, we got Troy Phillips, who is a director of the company and a 10% owner of the company, buying, how many is that? 100,000 shares at an average of 0.1725, just around this area. Friday before last. This is why we do this. No. Show me what I want to write. I can't succeed. Come on. There he is. That would have been the 18th, yes. There he is, right there. Homie just slapped that. He didn't care about it. He's just going to get all that. Right there. That's nice. That's a nice setup right there. Even here. Shit. Yeah, I mean, if you were to want to try something out, and Troy's got 100,000 of them. Troy's got 100,000. If you wanted to try something out, that maybe you could hold on to for a bit, that is very thin and truly too low, even though it isn't. Do you trade dubs? Unitrips? Okay, please. You know what? This could be very interesting. I mean, they are going live. They're getting their Form 4s together. They got their quarterly report. They have members of the company acquiring this. All the Troy Phillips is slapping the ask all over the place. You know what? It could be of interest, and this could be getting locked up to very high levels. Very interesting. I would be interested in doing more DD on this, and I would be interested in considering a position on this, but it'll be a patient one because the volume is very much spotty. But there aren't a lot of shares out here. And you say, well, it was down here before. Yeah, okay, it was, but you know what? It's here now, and I'm living in the moment. And Troy, you know, very interesting. Food for thought. Free flow. Free flow was filing in November, August, and now. 0.56 and a little heavy here. Did anyone care about free flow? Oh, piss off. I don't know. No, I don't care for this. I don't care for that. I don't care for that. I don't like Bank Corp stocks. Change in accountant. Anything else? They've got Tad Hamilton. Win a date with them. Next. Synergy Pharmaceuticals. Bankruptcy. I don't like that. Pass. IIoT Oxys is a company that has wild ass news all the time and never moves. They never do. You see it and you say, boy, what a unique name. What a unique organization. What are they up to? What is IIoT Oxys up to? Nothing. I'll take it in dubs. TGS. We got Xiaowei Deng. Okay. We joined him. Oh, for the love of God. Yeah. Oh, see you later. I don't care. Coffee Smith. The Coffee Smith. Departure of directors and appointments of officers. We still got Ashley, the CEO. So are there big changes here, or is it just boards of directors? It's just a change in directors. It's not a change in the company. BioQuest. Amendment to debt exchange. They've given him shares in exchange for promissory debt exchange. So, I mean, that they've essentially executed dilution, right? Like this, it's an amendment to their agreement where they executed dilution. So it's not like they set, because you get into this trap. We settled it. No, they just handed the person shares. They got a new CFO at HMNY. Paris Solutions. This came out before. And they got Wei Che. And this came out on Friday, so obviously no one cares about this, so we can pass on that. I'm going to look at a few charts real quick. This is called Chart Runner. I just invented it. I don't know if you knew that. Let me drop Chart Runner into my blank document. Top relative volume. A Chart Runner. Speed run, we know a lot of these, but these are the ones with the top relative volume in relation relative to what they've gotten before. Ready? ITNS. ITNS, also known as fake news play. Got loaded. We saw it Friday. Gave it a rip. Nice trade for some. A little bit terrifying for me personally. But you know what? It ran up nice. And then the fake news. Okay. UNLA. I don't know that. Do you know this? Well, son of a bitch. What's this? This volume that it's got relative to prior volume that it's got is pretty darn good. But how do I know what to do, Pat? I run the steps. Active status, history. They are active, my friend. I run it on the SOS site. They are delinquent on their filings, but they're at 47 million at a share price per share of dub 19. Disclosures, they don't have them. So the question is this. Yes, it has higher relative volume. Yes, it's SOS active. Yes. But this ticker, what's my stress here? If someone could just save me the energy. Why is Unilava suddenly not exciting for me? No. Yes and no. They are delinquent. Right. They are delinquent on their filings, which is fine. But after they went delinquent, they kept filing with Wyoming. So they're still active. They're still operating as an organization. They just don't care about their ticker. Right? So this activity doesn't, well, that too, but this activity doesn't translate to shareholder value because they quit on shareholder value in 2014. They shut that down. Well, it could. Here's the question. It's a fair ball. Well, it could be getting loaded for something. I need to be in control of my future. If you think I'm too picky with pumps and dumps and front loads, like for instance, look at True today. They announced a reverse merger, and you know what? It ended up closing pretty well. Charlie's Chalk Dust. They're merging into True, which is great. I love a reverse. Charlie's Chalk Dust. I love that. But what I don't love is buying people that have been loading the piss out of it sub penny and then some for the last 4 trading sessions prior to my getting a chance at it. I don't have to. If you want to play the game where someone's in control of your future, someone's decision to dump when they want to dump or whatever, it controls your outcome, that's totally cool. But this I don't like that, first of all, because that's how I lost a lot of my money, because they won't sell this low. Yeah, they will. And then so in the case of UNLA, you say, oh well, it could be getting loaded for something, and whatever it is, if it's over the top front loading, when whatever it is comes out, I won't have to. I can control my money. I'm in control. Unique, top relative volume, 100% dumping on a promo. Nasty. Ugly ass. Like, it is a lot of volume, but it's just really, really nasty. Like, look at that. Brutality. MX PRKR, formerly known as Ultimate NASDAQ Bag. If you know the NASDAQ, if you know big board trading, which, believe it or not, I do, I just don't care for, this is one of the worst bags out there. These people are up from so high, and it just gets worse. Yeah, the volume's good, dumping. Maybe a reverse split coming there. SRUP, oh boy, been a while. Formerly known as forward split play. And no, I sure don't have to here. Moving on. BMSN. These are highest relative volume. Oy vey. I'm going to pass on that. HLXW. Chart Runner. I'm going to pass on that. Drop. Fascinating. Nice. Yeah, scan. And I'll show you I'll drop it in the Discord what it is. It's just a bot that I found that makes this automatically, and it's nice for practicing running the steps. SPRL. I don't know that. Trips. Woof. What y'all doing, huh? What's up? What's the plan, man? I don't have to. Listen, I understand these things can sometimes run. DCLT, guess what? There was a reverse split in that pre-14C, 1 to 5. That's done. Andy, bag, DNAX. Funny, huh? This amount of volume brings you this, and this amount of volume brings you a quarter. Kind of looks like the old DNAX. No bid shite. Is it getting front loaded for news? Probably. MYMX on the list. Top relative volume. I'm aware of it. True. MDIN bag. TXTM bag. Next. 3-day average change leaders. NHLE. Huh. I'm not seeing it. Are you? No. Quick steps. Inhale, bro. Inhale, run the steps on it. I'll drop the rest of the list in there. E-Tech, IGMB, nice pump there. Pulse Beverage bag. CTBO. I'll drop the rest of the list in. You can look at it and see if there's some other additional tickers. But my advice today and days like today is to just keep picking away. As frustrating as it is, and as easy as it is to just to say, oh, well, this way doesn't work. I'll find the different style. The different style will work. This isn't a style. This is how you look at tickers. And unfortunately, sometimes a lot of tickers look like shit. But if you know anything about me, I never stop looking. Ever, ever, ever. If you want to be first, that's what you got to do. Alrighty. Thank you. Bye-bye.